Right. Last time we spoke about the garments of the Kohen Gadol, the garments of the Kohen Gadol, and also of the regular Kohen. The regular Kohen had what we call 4 garments, and the great Kohen had 8 garments, 8 special garments. And if you remember, we showed some of the pictures of these garments that we had. Maybe I could just show you the picture like this over here. Let's see if we can get the picture here. Is this, one second, 1 minute. Yeah, I'm not sharing, was I? Okay, here, let's just show some of the pictures. Here we had this picture here. Let's see if we can get this picture here. Can you see the picture? Remember, I showed it to you last time, but in order to show that picture, here, this is the breastplate that he had, and this is the ephod that he wore, the Kohen wore, and this is called the cheshav ephod. This here, this is he ties it around his back, and over here there are, you can see here. Let's see, I gotta get a pointer over here. There are 2 stones. I have to hold this thing still. There we go. There's 2 stones. See, on each one of his shoulders, and on these stones are written Avnei Shoham, they're called, and they're written also the names of the 12 tribes are written there. And here's also the written name of the 12 tribes. But this is called the Choshen, and it's called the Choshen of Mishpat also. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about it. Inside of it, if you can see this picture here, see inside of the picture is backwards. I think I can make the picture so that it goes right side. Let's see this 1 second. 1 minute, video settings. There we go. There is a way. Oh. There is a way that we can turn it around so that it looks normal. Where is this? All right, I don't know where it is. There's somewhere over here that you can make it. Okay, forget it. It's not important. Okay. So here we have what's called the, this is called the breastplate, and the breastplate had in it, the resolution is not very good, but it had the names of the tribes written here, but inside here was a parchment, and on this parchment was written the name of God. And when it was in there, so the Kohen could be asked questions always by an important person. The Rambam explains it in the language of the garments of the Kohen, and it was very interesting. The Kohen, an important person like a king or somebody important would come in, and the Kohen would face toward the ark with his back to the person who was asking. The person would ask in a sort of a low voice, and then a question, and the answer would light up on these stones that were there. The answer would light up on the stones. Let's see, maybe I'll hold it up. Maybe that'll be better. I don't think so, but we'll see. The answer would light up on these various stones. Oh, see, they were there. And the Kohen would have to be able to answer what was going on. He had to try to translate and interpret what it said on these stones. Let me try to do this one more time. I know that there's a way that I can reverse it so that it comes out. Maybe it's not even worth it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. There it is. There it is. Now you can actually read what it says here. See? If the resolution is good. See? There's the names of the tribes are written on this, and inside is this paper that's put inside there. See? And this parchment is written here. There's the parchment there. Oh. And this had this. So let's see what Rashi says of it. It's pretty interesting. See what Rashi says. And there we go. The beginning of this week's Torah portion talks about the garments of the Kohen Gadol, and also the regular Kohanim. And the last part of it, the last half almost, talks about the 7 days of inauguration that the Kohanim had to go through in order to become Kohanim. Talks about it. And the very end, it talks about the the incense table, the golden incense table. So we'll have a look at the golden incense table. I just want to say, see this law of the, all right, this is now talking about the tzitz that was on the head of Aaron. Yes. There we go. That's the tzitz. That was that thing that was tied around his head. It was a plate of gold that was tied around his head. Remember, we had a picture of that also. There's a picture there. Where is my, oh, it's not. Okay. There. All right. Here, see. Here is the tzitz. This was worn, where is it here? Around the head of Aaron. It was written Kodesh Lashem on a plate of gold that was on his forehead. And if you look and see where exactly this went, it went, do we have the picture? We have the big picture here. Find the picture here. There was a picture of the whole entire thing, right? Oh. Excuse me, I'm just trying to find the full picture of the coin. We just had it. Well, it is eluding me. Should be right here. Should be this page. I must have skipped over the page. Could it be? No. There was a picture, a full picture of the coin. For some reason, the picture is eluding me, and I cannot find it. Maybe it's in this book here. It's in this book, I think. Here, this is better. Oh. There it is. See, here's the coin. And the tzitz was on his head. Here. It even says tzitz, you can see it in Hebrew. Tzitz, and there it was on his head. There underneath his turban. Some say that there was also a place here open where we could put tefillin on. We would put tefillin on also when he was working in the Holy Temple. This is the breastplate that he had. And on his shoulder were also these two avnei shoim, was also written the names of the tribes. And here were also written, there was 12 different stones. On each one was written the name of one of the tribes. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting how it used to be. Okay, now let's go to the end. Here we go. Herschel, shalom. Let us go to the end of this week's Torah reading. Okay, so the beginning talks about all these garments of the Kohen, which we just went through. We went through all the garments of the Kohen, the special turban that he had, and the Urim and the Tumim, the breastplate with the stones with the names of the tribes on it, and there was the two special stones on his shoulders, right? The Avnei Shoham that they had and that he wore, and the special turban that he had, and a special sash that he put on. Okay, so let's go to the end. Then it talks about the offerings that were made in the 7 days, right? And the Kaddish. This is the things that they should be done in order to sanctify them in order that they should be able to serve me. So this is the 7 days they had to bring all these offerings here.
Huh? Not yet.
Oh. Okay. And now let us go to this. These are all they have to do, very detailed, the sacrifices that they had to make in order to prepare. 7 days, they should put the Kohen on these garments. He should put the garments on. And in order for him to be able to prepare himself to serve in the tabernacle. What they should eat, what they should do. He said, Aaron and his sons should do this just like I commanded them. 7 days they should inaugurate their being. That's the 7 days they should inaugurate their status. The 7 days of preparation. They have to do every day, and it lists what the sacrifices are. 7 days. They have to do 7 days in order to purify the altar and make it holy, and it'll be holy of holies. Anyone who touches it will be also holy. What does it mean? It'll be holy of holies. The altar was not found in the holy of holies. The altar was found outside. So Rashi says, what does it mean that the altar, and by means of doing these 7 days of inauguration sacrifices, it becomes holy? What does it mean it's holy? What does that mean? Anyone who touches it becomes holy. It means even if there was a disqualified sacrifice that went up on it, nevertheless, it became holy, and therefore it wouldn't be able to be brought down. You couldn't take it down and sell it or eat it or whatever. Any sacrifice that was brought up automatically became holy because it says anything that touches it. So now I understand that even if it's an unfit sacrifice, you can also, it becomes sanctified by being brought up to the altar. Once it goes up, you can't take it down. Okay. Now, finally, he talks about the constant offering you make every day. That's going to be made every day. 2 sheep. 1 sheep has to be made in the morning, boker, and the second one has to be made what's called bein arbayim, when it begins to get dark. It's called a constant offering. You should sanctify the Ohel Moed. Remember, the Ohel Moed is this tent of meeting where there was the holy and the holy of holies. Aaron and his sons should be Kohanim to me, and I will dwell within the Jewish people, and I will be for them a God. In other words, this is the place of service. The holy temple becomes the place of service, where you can make sacrifices, and also where the holy ark is. According to the Ramban, the main thing is the ark, and according to the Rambam, Maimonides, the main thing is the altar where they made the sacrifices. Then you'll know that I am God, that I took you from the land of Egypt, and I want to dwell within you. I am God, your God. And Rashi says, I dwell within you. Why did I take you out of Egypt? In order that I should be able to dwell among you. Last chapter in the book, you should make a golden altar. You should make an altar to make on it sacrifice, to burn on it incense. Also make it from shittim wood. That's made from shittim wood. When it burn up, it says you're going to see. And then it's 1 amma wide, 1 amma long, and it is square and 2 ammas tall from its corners up. And here I have a sort of a picture, even though this picture, true to form, is not really that accurate, because it's supposed to have, first of all, these ornaments on there. I guess that was poetic license or something, because it doesn't say there's supposed to be any ornaments. And number 2, there's supposed to be rings over here so that you could carry it. And that's what it was. So he left out the rings. but in general, it's okay. So in other words, it was about 3 feet tall, 1 yard tall, 2.5 amas tall. So 3.25, what is, because the amma is about 1.5 feet. So it's about 3.25 feet tall and 1.5 feet this way and 1.5 feet this way. It says 1 amma, and 2 ammas. That's all it is. And on it would be made the sacrifice. Now, where would this be placed? It would be placed in the, what was called the holy. Remember, we talked about that. The place where, can we find the picture? Well, it's pretty hard to find the pictures over here. Accurate pictures for sure. But let's see, maybe we'll give it one try, all right? Mishkan Bamidbar. Find it? Can we find it? Mishkan. Can you see? Are you able to see? Yes. All right, this is what it looked from the outside, right? There were it was 100 amas this way, and this was 30 amas, and 10 amas wide. It says 10 amas. This is the Mizbeach, even though in this picture, I think it's way too far distant from here, but there was also a laver that was supposed to be over here, but that's missing. But maybe we'll get a picture. Oh, here, something like this. It looked like this. You would go in. There were 3 pillars here. That's right. And there were pillars here. There was a cloth that was put over, and on that was put animal skins. So we learned about that. There was also a cloth, a drape, tapestry that was put here, and another one was put here. When you went in, somewhere like about the middle, there was the golden altar. That was in the middle. And on this side was the candelabra, and on this side was the face spread. Remember we talked about that? Are there any pictures here? These are the boards. Not too accurate. The boards are okay. All right. Anyway, that's how it looked. Now we're talking about 1 second. Just one moment, please. One moment. Hello. Shalom, Cain. Cain, betach. Ani rak mishtachrer barba. Okay. Exactly which picture you want me to show you here? Oh, I see. In other words, I have to do the share thing, right? Yeah. So can you see the picture now? Here. No. That doesn't work. All right. Here. Can you see this picture? Let's try this. I think I can make this bigger. Oh, here it is. 1 minute. Oh, there it is. That's the maximum. Here we have a picture of the golden altar. I think if that's the picture that you wanted to see, I don't know if that's the picture you wanted to see, but here it is. 1 minute, just 1 minute. Have patience. I will show you the picture. Here. This is the picture of the golden altar. There. See? Is it clear? A little bit. This is the picture. It's 2 amas high, 1 amma wide, 1 amma deep. So it's square. It has these 4 horns on the top of it. It has rings so that it can be carried, and it was coated with gold. That's why it's called the golden altar. Right? That's the picture. I hope this is the picture that you wanted to see. It is, yes. Good, visible. Very good. That's what we're learning. So it says you should make this altar 1 amma wide, 1 amma deep, and 2 ammas tall, like we said. And you should cover it with gold, pure gold, the top of it and the sides, all the way around. It should all be gold, and you should make on it a zer zahav saviv, and there has to be around the top of it also, like you said here. Anyway, around the top, it has to be. What I mean, that picture of that I just showed you, there was no picture, huh? All right. Let's see. Maybe we can do a little bit better here. I thought this was the picture. Here we go. Okay, now. This, I think, is supposed to be the golden altar. All right, it's a lot of poetic license over here, because the horns, they decided to make it like horns, something like Michelangelo made Moses with horns, because it says Karen or. They're supposed to be straight, but and on the other hand, it is gold, and it does have these round things. That's how it's supposed to be. This is the golden altar, and it had a zir above. It had a rim around it. Right? These horns are not accurate. They should supposed to be straight, like that. It's one amma, like this is about 1.5 feet, one amma here, another half a feet, and this is 2 ammas high, which is 3 feet. 2 ammas high, 3 feet. Good. You see? Did you see this picture? Yes. I don't know what you see and what I say. This is what I see. You have to make 2 rings of gold, and then you have to make 2 staves and put them in order to bear this altar, like we had here. There's 2 staves. And you should put it before the parochet, right? In other words, you put it in the outside part of the tent of meeting, right in the middle. And where by meeting, in other words, not in the same 1/3, the inner third, which is called the Holy of Holies, where there was only the ark there. And you should offer on it incense. And every single morning when you do this. Now, there's a difference between the incense and the sacrifice. Sacrifices are called korbanot. Korban, the word korban means to be close. Korov means to be close. Korov means to be close. And the incense, though, is katoris. That means kesher. It means to be tied. So in some way, the katoret was a closer connection to God than the sacrifices were. Katoris. And one of the reasons why is because in the katoret, in the incense, one of the ingredients was not kosher. It was not kosher. One of the ingredients was made from a not kosher animal. And in fact, the whole thing was connected to death. It says that if, unlike the other sacrifices, it says in the Ketoret that if you change the way it's made, that it's punishable by death. And if you use it outside, it's also punishable by death. I get death from heaven. Yes, because I don't know who would warn a person not to do a thing like that. Death, according to the Torah, could only be done if a person was warned properly. And there had to be 2 witnesses that saw him. And he had to immediately say, right after he was warned, I know, and then he has to do it immediately. It was almost impossible to kill somebody, according to the Torah. But from heaven, there wasn't such a thing as death from heaven. Death from heaven. And that says this was especially connected with the incense. So this was the incense table that was inside. So it said, when Aaron lights the candles on the menorah in the evening, because they would be lit the whole entire night, then he would make also this incense again before God. You can't make on it, you cannot offer on it any strange incense that was not commanded. And Aaron then by means of its karnotav, achat b'shana. Aaron will bring sacrifices once a year. This is going to be in Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, he sprinkles blood also on the inner altar, on the golden altar, which usually is only used for incense. But once in a year on Yom Kippur, it was also be thrown blood. There was also thrown blood on the inside in the ark. Also, we would go on Yom Kippur in the Kodesh Kedoshim for God. That ends this week's Torah portion. Parshas Kitzaveh. The beginning is talking about the garments of the Kohen Gadol. The middle part almost is talking about what Aaron and his sons had to do in order to inaugurate themselves 7 days, the complicated sacrifices they had to bring. And the end is talking about the inner altar, the altar of the golden altar. The outer altar was made from brass, the choshet, and there was sacrificed the animals. But the inner one was not sacrificed animals. It was only ketoret, only the incense was brought on that every single day. And now I'd like to learn a little bit about the Megillah. Let's see if we can find the Megillah, and we'll certainly learn it tomorrow also. And God willing, there will be a class, and for sure, I mean, tomorrow there'll for sure be classes regular. And for sure also Thursday, even though that's a fast day, but I think nevertheless we can have a class, for sure the Hasidic class we can have, we'll see. But let's see if I can access here, one second, the